All right, everybody, welcome back to Culz Sports Chat, episode 37. The NFL season is definitely shaping up now a little bit clearer in some aspects as far as perhaps what teams are going to be late in the season, as well as we're getting almost to the halfway point of fantasy football. It's pretty crazy how quickly the season goes by. Brendan, Bob, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Surviving, filming, trying to beat Madden with 5 different quarterbacks playing every game, but
Oh,
hey, I start a new quarterback each drive. But yeah, let's look at NFL. Well, first, let's start off a little bit different. Big trades everywhere. There's 3 of us. Brendan, you pick a trade, talk about it, and then Bob can go with the other one.
And then you can go with the third one.
Exactly. So it works out perfectly.
Okay, I'll go with one of my favorite receivers, and I regret trading him away in fantasy, but I needed to do what I needed to do last year. Devontae Adams finally gets back to New York, or doesn't get back, I should say. Well, gets back with Aaron Rodgers, goes to New York for a conditional third-round pick that might become a second.
Yeah, and this one we'll see how it helps the team. We know receiving was kind of an issue brought up by Aaron Rodgers last week, especially with Mike Williams. It seems like Mike Williams is on the chopping block. It sounds like they've been chopping him already. So we'll see him out of the mix, but I don't know. Garrett Wilson hasn't been producing a lot, even with Rodgers, and Lazard probably looks the best. He'll probably keep that slot position. Who's their tight end? Like, do they have a good tight end? I feel like that Bowers pick we all wanted them to do probably would have worked out.
I think tight ends like Conklin or something.
Tyler Conklin, yeah, maybe. Seems like it could be right. Bobby, how about you? Do you want to say any words about the Buffalo Bills making a trade today?
They made a trade with I forget who it was, but yeah, Buffalo got better with that trade today.
Yeah, they traded a third for Amari Cooper.
Cooper, yeah.
I think they also sent a 7th, and then return got a 6th.
Yep.
But yeah, they got Amari Cooper. Buffalo, that helps out immensely. I think in certain games where we've seen them going against some of these higher powered teams, without a outright number one receiver, they've struggled.
Yep.
And so I think Amari Cooper there will be good. I think his impact will be bigger than Devontae, just because, I mean, Devontae's offense is still the same that we've been seeing from the Jets. Actually, no, I think they've made an offensive coordinator switch.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's
Hackett just got demoted from playing call playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Amari Cooper, and the Browns actually got more in the trade than the Cowboys got for Amari Cooper, if that is something. Yeah, I think the Cowboys got a 5th.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunately for the Cowboy fans, they're seeing they probably could have got a lot more in their trade than they did. And then the final trade today, we saw Texans trading Cam Akers back to the Vikings, because I'm pretty sure he was with the Vikings.
The Rams.
Well, he was the Rams. But I think he played for the Vikings. Let me fact check that.
Oh.
Let me see. Yeah, because he started with the Rams.
I only know him as a Ram, and now a Texan. But
oh yeah, see, Minnesota Vikings first stint on September 21st, 2023. The Rams traded Akers in a conditional 2026 7th round. So they haven't even got that draft pick yet. Draft pick to Minnesota Vikings in exchange for a 2026 6th round. And then this year he signed with the Texans and then got traded. That one was kind of out of the blue, at least with the receivers. We kind of expected the receivers to be. Yeah, so Matt, our local Viking fan, said that is correct. He was with the Vikings. Scott, how are you doing?
Oh, we're surviving. We're surviving. Long, busy, tough weekend, but got through it. So,
Got through it. You have fun?
yeah, we had a good time. Just for those who just hadn't caught up last week, I play sled hockey with the Phoenix Coyotes sled hockey team, and we had a tournament in Irvine, California last weekend. So, in that also meant that I did absolutely zero watching football this past weekend. I tried to listen to the second half of the Ravens game over Sirius XM, but trying to listen and realize what's going on, and thank you very much. And see, I have fans over there somewhere, and trying to listen and to drive safely. Kind of hard to do at the same time, so I couldn't really tell you what all happened or what all I heard. Other than that, kind of saw the I saw the Monday night game, which was okay, but other than that, that is honestly all I know about football for this past weekend. So we had a good time. I'm on the B team for the Coyotes. Unfortunately, both the A and B teams finished in fourth place in their respective tiers. So, but coming up is the National Sled Classic in Dallas, the second weekend of December, or I'm sorry, the second weekend of November. So now we're prepping for that. So one down, move on. So
Hey, should be good though in Dallas. What are your thoughts with the trades today? There's been a lot of trade activity for pretty early on in the season. We had not Michael. Michael Lynch will probably get traded here soon, but Devontae Adams going to the Jets, Amari Cooper going to the Bills, and Cam Akers going to the Vikings. What are your
uh,
thoughts there?
well, I tell you what, I think positives for each of those in their new locations. Um, yeah, it seems like I've always said that the receivers, no matter how great they are and how well they can catch the ball, they're really only as good as the person who can get them the ball. If the quarterback is constantly throwing over their heads by 20 feet or always throwing it short, uh, they're not gonna catch. They're not gonna put up the stats. So I think both for Cooper and for Adams, uh, they got better quarterbacks that can definitely get them the ball. And as far as Akers, well, seems like there's a good opportunity for some good yardage there in Minnesota. Look forward to see what he does up there.
Yeah, for fantasy owners of Akers like Bobby here, he's got to be pretty happy getting a new starting running back out of the blue. So, but yeah, NFL week was fun, and I thought it was one of the better weeks this year. We definitely had our snoozers as usual, but let's take a quick look back. We almost had the tie happen in Philadelphia and Cleveland. Um, Philadelphia tried. They spotted him a touchdown on the block there, but no offensive touchdown still for Cleveland, who lost 20-16 to Philadelphia, and they're still not benching Deshaun Watson, so I don't think it's going to get better. Brendan, how do you feel about your team? Because it was ugly.
Well, luckily I didn't get to watch it. So
For a while there, I was watching it. I think it was like 10-10.
yeah,
And I was like, "Whoa, my tie might actually happen."
I
Uh,
I don't know what to think about. I have no clue what to think.
I mean, Suyani's yelling at the fans.
It baffles me on how you can waste so much talent
Yeah,
when you have two good coordinators. Like, they are both really good coordinators. Nick Sirianni shouldn't have to do anything but time manage.
well, he was too busy yelling at the Eagle fans in the stadium.
That's probably because he's bored because now all he has to do is time manage.
Yeah, I would expect the way the season's going for Philly. I think much like Dallas, we will see new coaches next year. I think the Bill Belichick option is pretty intriguing. I know people brought up Jacksonville. I'm starting to lean Jacksonville higher than Dallas just because of the financial thing. But at Dallas, I think you might have the better chance to at least go 12 wins, and he needs to beat that all-time win record. So
I think Mike Vrabel should go to Philly.
yeah, because Vrabel's not doing anything, huh?
Well, he's on the Browns.
Oh
I
well,
think he's
yeah.
assistant head coach on the Browns right now.
So he's not doing anything, as we can tell.
Hmm? Yeah, exactly.
Man, the Browns are the only team not to score 20 points this year. They have one of the lowest offensive outputs of any team. I think there was a record that the 0-16 Lions were better points per game than these Browns are.
I think the 0-16 Browns were better than these Browns. And they're 0-26 for their last 26 third downs. Like,
yeah. And now with Amari Cooper gone, like I don't think it's going to get better because he was pretty much their only offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Matt brought up Dion to Dallas, which I could see it.
Oh,
But at the same time, I think Dion might want to go wherever the team that could draft his son is going to be. So probably rule out Jacksonville. Philadelphia, I don't think so either. Maybe Dallas, because I don't know. Pierce might not make it either, honestly, because they are looking pretty shabby. Thursday's night game, the 49ers whooped up on Seattle. Unfortunately, Seattle just didn't look good at any facet of the game. Offense, quarterback, receiver, definitely on defense. I mean, you're handed all these non-starters playing, and you can't hold them to under 30 points. I mean, that's pretty bad. San Francisco looks good once they get healthy, get Ayuk a little bit more up to speed. I think they will be fine. Jacksonville got smoked this week as well in London. I think another coach on the very, very hot seat. I think we're going to see him probably get fired before the end of the year. People were calling that he was going to get fired this week, but I think the fact that they were in London for 2 weeks, they were like, "Oh, we'll just keep him."
right.
So, maybe next week. The Bears are doing something that the Bears haven't done in a while, and that's beat bad teams in a big fashion. Because I remember the last few years, the Bears would sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but it would always be close. But they're actually handling business, and that defense has come alive. And I think Caleb has now thrown more touchdowns his rookie year than either Justin Fields or Mitch Trubisky did in their entire rookie season. And it's only a few games in. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll beat all the rookie records for sure for Chicago. He might be their first 4,000-yard passer at this rate. So.
Yeah, definitely the reason why the Bears took him first overall, and why anybody would take him first overall. Williams now here, with 4 or 5 weeks in, is showing really what he is now, getting more up to speed. Probably for him, the game is slowing down within his mind. He can see it better, and we're now going to be really seeing what he can do for the NFL. So,
yeah,
I have him on a couple of my other teams. Really looking forward to now be playing him pretty much regularly. I think I've been holding him back on the bench, but now I think he's ready to be going in on my games pretty much every week.
Yeah, no, I've there's been a couple of weeks where I'm like, oh, I should have started him, but then luckily Lamar has played well enough that I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, Caleb, you can tell he's starting to just see the field better because it happens with any rookie outside of like maybe CJ Stroud. We've seen it. Look at Aikman, look at Elway, look at Manning. All these quarterbacks come in and just look terrible their rookie year because it is a lot faster, and everyone is like a 10 out of 10. It's not like you're playing scrubs or with maybe one star. So
Right.
yeah, no, it's been amazing. There's been a lot more of those highlight plays, and he's looked better in the pocket. There's a play that's been going around where you see him look at like 4 different reads before he passes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
just like 1, 2, 3, pass back.
Yeah. And I was able to do it on one of my teams, but to get a Williams and Odunze stack within that same team. So thinking any Odunze owners around will also be seeing the benefits of having again, as I said, receivers are as good as the quarterback that's going. If the quarterback is going, well, then the receiver is there to pick up the spoils, as they say. And Odunze owners should also be looking forward and licking their chops for future weeks coming up here.
Right. Swift has looked a little bit better as well, which I think helps when you can actually run the ball.
Oh yeah.
But if a top prospect comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears jump on it because they definitely need that running back in the backfield. And offensive line for sure. It's still a need.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that. Defense has been pretty good for the Bears. Good and kind of good and bad. A little bit more inconsistent there too. But if I was also a Bears fan, well, I was born a Bears fan, but would also kind of want to see what to get even a third receiver. They got Moore. They have Odunze. They got Komet at fullback. But would like to have them see a nice slot, good old speed demon receiver. That would pretty much fill out the whole offense there, and that'd be an awesome team. They could get that to happen.
Yeah, it would be fun to see Hunter from the Buffaloes, CU Buffaloes go there, but they're not going to be bad enough to draft him. So
No.
Yeah.
like,
I've heard he wants to come here. That's what I've heard.
Well, I mean, if Denver keeps looking the way they did Sunday, they might have a chance. Because he might go number 1.
Yep.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised. There was a graphic, and I don't know if it was this last CU game or game before.
Yep.
Where the star of the offense and the star of defense were both Hunter.
Yep.
Just showed his picture for both. So that tells you kind of how special he is going to be. Next game, this one was early for a little bit, Green Bay, Arizona. And then the defense just stopped playing, and Green Bay capitalized on some fumbles. It wasn't Kyler Murray. It was the receivers and I think the running back fumbling. And it was you could see the air came right out of him after that.
Yeah, and I had heard, of course, I didn't get to see the game, but I'd heard that Marvin Harrison had a concussion, like second play, and so he was out. I have Harrison in a number of my teams, so that double hurt me. But even still, there is still a real disconnect within the Arizona offense. Again, like I said, I've never been a Kyler Murray fan. I've never been secret about that. And again, it's just not the Cardinals really need a straw to stir the drink. and Murray is not that straw. I know a lot of people would like to think that, but he just does not bring everybody together, and he does not really try to get people like Marvin Harrison the opportunity to really showcase what they can do. So, and the defense here in Arizona has been very nearly as bad as the offense. So, yeah, it's just not good at all in Arizona.
Yeah, the defense is definitely hot and cold. Some weeks they've come out and played, and then other weeks I think they're riding high. You can tell there's a lot of young players because they're definitely on the emotions from the win before. I know Brendan is worried about Kyler Murray in a couple of weeks, though. Brendan, are you there?
Yeah.
So why are you worried about Kyler Murray in a couple of weeks?
Oh, I'm not worried about him, but he does. The new Call of Duty comes out, so I was just pointing out that, and I saw a post of a meme about it earlier today too. They
Isn't he sponsored by him or something?
yeah, so he just signed a sponsorship, and then he goes and gets blown out by the Packers. So they were already making fun of it, and the new game comes out the 25th, and so as someone who has the running back, I kind of worry about it, but I'm not really worried about the Murray because I'm not a Cardinal fan. Sorry, Scott.
Hey, I'm a
I'm not.
Cardinal.
I'm not that big a fan either, but
Okay.
I'm a Cardinal fan in Madden because that's the team that I chose to rebuild. And they've gone undefeated 2 years in a row. So looking good in Madden. No, honestly, this game was not Murray's fault. I forget who the receiver was that fumbled it, and it would have made it a tie game or at least within a field goal. And then one of the running backs fumbled, and then that Green Bay was just capitalizing. They look really good, Green Bay. The whole division. When your worst team is 4-2, like that doesn't happen. So yeah, that's going to be a fun division to watch, especially because pretty much they're all really young. Even if you look at Minnesota with Sam Darnold, he's not old. I think he's 24, 25 still. So
yeah.
Let's see. Well, at least Cardinals didn't win, but Colts won. Scott, it was a close one. Will Levis is. I don't know if it's just the coach.
Well, yeah. Again, with the kind of hate to say, keep talking about rough situations, but kind of Tennessee is in the same boat. What are they doing? Who is the person to go there? Who's running the show? So in that sense, at least the Colts could do that. Again, Colts have been being led by Flacco. Flacco knows how to get things done and how to get the ball to the right people. And Levis has not yet shown me that he could do that there in Tennessee. So I don't know how much longer people who watch the Titans are willing to wait for him to be that person. We'll have to find out.
Right, and I know when he went out with injury the 1 week and Rudolph came in, it didn't get better. And I think it's just a whole system. They traded away a lot of their talent to make to show Vrabel that they were in control. Then they got rid of Vrabel, and now it's just kind of like a ship without a rudder. I don't know where they're going. But Tennessee lost, Indy won, so that's good. It's a division win. It sounds like Anthony Richardson will be back this week. So they played it safe. He probably could have been back last week, if not week before. But it's better safe than sorry with him.
That's true.
And I still think Richardson's going to be good. Houston blew out New England. Was not even close. New England got some late touchdowns. And for some reason, Drake May was in running for Rookie of the Week. for his garbage time touchdowns, and I do not think he deserved it. So,
Well, he threw more touchdowns than the team had throwing all year. I don't think he played bad. I mean, obviously, I know they're garbage time touchdowns, but I mean, as debates go against a good defense, he didn't look bad. So I'm not completely against it.
looked okay. He looked like a rookie, which is what we kind of expect.
Which is yours, right?
Yeah, in his first start, and 2 of the touchdowns came in the fourth quarter. So by then it was well out of reach. Luckily, if this was Baltimore, they might have had a chance to come back and win. We'll talk about Baltimore because I'm worried about them closing games because they have not been able to do it. But yeah, is there hope in New England? Eventually. They still got a lot of rebuilding to do.
Right. Well,
Hey, they might get Travis Hunter. I don't know.
Yeah. But looking at the stats, and as Brendan was saying, it was mop up time, but he's also right. May threw a number of touchdowns that New England hasn't seen as of yet, and so with ours, I took May really late in our league draft with the idea of, well, I'm going to just see what he does and hold him. And I've been holding him really tight. Maybe now I'm going to be interested to see what he does this coming week. If we start seeing some more positivity out of him, then maybe I'll give him more of a serious consideration for a start on our league. We'll have to see. But I drafted him because he was there, and I said, well, I'm fine to hold on to him for a year, 2 years until he really gets into form. Maybe he's going to start getting into that form here in these next few weeks. We'll have to see.
Right. Well, and going from one rookie quarterback making their first start to another, the Saints actually came back for a little bit. They were beating the Bucks, and then defense, and I think a lot of it is coaching. It's another one of the coaches. I think I'd be surprised if he makes it next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be on the chopping block. But Spencer Rattler didn't look too bad. Had the same amount of passing yards as Drake May. And Tampa Bay's not a slouch on defense, but we'll see. They play Denver Thursday. And probably no Pat Surtain there, so we'll see how he does. Denver, we'll get to them as well, because they fool's gold for a while, it looked like, but against Los Angeles, it wasn't too good.
No.
But Baker and the Bucs are looking good, just taking care of business. Next one was 2016 Philadelphia. We already touched upon that. We'll see where they go. I think this week is going to be kind of make or break. I think getting to another game, Baltimore-Washington. Going into the fourth, this was a 2-touchdown lead, and Washington was able to get back into it and lost by 3 points, I think. What was the score? 7 points. They still got within the score, and that's something we've seen with Baltimore all years. They do really good, but the fourth quarter they just aren't closing the games. And I think this will come back to bite them, especially in the playoffs, because even if you're up big, we've seen teams up big in the playoffs and just get blown out. They were able to take away the running game, though, and we saw Jaden struggle without that, but then he was able to get back on his feet and make some really nice plays. I think Washington should be fine for the years to come with Jaden there.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Bobby, Denver was down 23-0
Yep.
at one point. The score is a lot more respectable.
Yeah.
Because they scored too late and a field goal to make it 23-16. But, man, they looked really lifeless against the Chargers.
After that one out, the air went out of them.
Yeah, the offense
that was it.
Yeah, at one point, I think going into the fourth quarter, Knicks had 40 yards passing.
Yep. I don't like some of the calls that Peyton makes. It's like why go for that field goal? It's like get down the field, why?
Well, you gotta put in the points. It's easier to get the field goal then, and then throw a Hail Mary. You need both anyways. So I understand that, but I don't know. The Chargers cleaned up. Not a lot of weapons. Looked good. Justin
Nope.
Herbert is a really good quarterback,
Yeah.
and I think he's progressing well with his injury. I don't think they've really taken off all the training wheels this year, but I think he will do fine as well. I think Knicks will too. Like I've been a fan of Knicks, but I just
Yeah.
they need some more options
More
there. The
weapons.
run game for sure. I thought Steam coming back, but I know he's coming back from injury. But man, they need something because their
Somebody to
receivers weren't
trade
doing
maybe.
anything.
They need like a
Yeah,
trade or something,
yeah.
Either
I
go
mean,
to Stidham or something. One of the quarterbacks.
it's trade seasons. Apparently, today was trade season. Here's another interesting one. So the Steelers just whooped up on the Raiders. The Raiders look terrible. Like I said, I don't think the coach is going to survive this year. I don't think O'Connell has helped them. Honestly, I think Minshew helped them a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. But the Steelers for a while weren't pulling out too far. Najee Harris, though, Brendan, looking pretty good. You got to be happy there, being a Najee Harris owner.
Of course he did. I benched him. Okay. But my other running backs besides Connor did really good for being usually backup rookies. So I can't completely be mad. But of course, Najee has his best game of the year when I bench him.
Right.
That's just.
Well, and Justin Fields still playing really well, but seems
He's
like
no
reports
longer the
out of
starting
Pittsburgh.
quarterback.
Yep, Russell Wilson is going to be probably starting this week.
Why?
I knew it.
Hot hand. Stay with Fields. Oh God.
When they wouldn't shut those rumors down, I knew it was going to happen. Like Tomlin could have said, "No, we're going to stick with the hot hand," but they said we're leaving it open for Russ, and this is what's going to happen.
Well, that's Russ was the first Russ was the first person they got. So there's and he's only not played really because of injury, not necessarily because Fields has been playing well. Russell's really been down. Well, now he's supposed to be backing up, and so you're not really supposed to put a guy over him if he's been down with injury. So if he's feeling good, I'm sure Tomlin's sitting there going, "Okay, you're good. We got you to be the number one anyway. So in you go, and now you see how you do." He's probably happy that Fields has gotten 5 games to get him up to speed. So Tomlin's probably sitting there thinking, "Okay, well, I have an excellent backup ready to go. Should Russell have some more troubles?" But otherwise, the injured guy who's now healthy gets to go in when he was normally going to be the number one anyway.
Yeah, and I think had Justin come out and really put up some amazing games,
True.
this conversation would have been different. But I know 2 weeks ago he made it more respectable in the end, but for a while it was rough. And I think that's especially when asked that after that game, and Tomlin was like, the window, we're just waiting for us to get healthy. I think everyone knew. We'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. If Russ comes in and has success, then I think they'll keep him there. But here's another fun one. Detroit humiliated Dallas, Brendan, on Jerry Jones's birthday, of all days, to get just blown out. I was surprised. I didn't honestly 100% think that they were going to fire McCarthy. But I was like, of old days for him to just fire the coach on his birthday, I think that would be, I would understand that. Happy birthday, Mr. Jones. We're going to get blown out 47-9 at home.
I think I think somebody said that was the first time the NFL has ever seen that score.
It's a weird score, yeah. It's
Like,
one of those that if you get on the Super Bowl pick'em sheets, you're like, why do I have 7 and 9? Like, when is that gonna happen? I had 1 year I had 8 and 0. Right? Oh no. Yeah, I think it was 8 or 3. And I almost got it, but then the Broncos scored that touchdown in the third quarter of the Super Bowl, so I lost it. And I was like, man, the one time I have the weird number, and I almost had it. Atlanta took care of Carolina. Carolina's still getting smoked. Atlanta's looking more and more like a good team. You know, Cousins getting healthy, showing that quarterback might have just been one of the issues last year. You know, we saw kind of a rotation last year, and this year receivers are looking better. Their run game is strong. They have 2 really good running backs at the moment, so I think that will go a while. A rough game. Cincinnati wins at 17-7, but it never really was an exciting game. Like neither offense seemed like they could do anything.
Yep.
And considering neither defense has played really well, it was kind of concerning on both fronts. Definitely more if you're Cincinnati because you're supposed to be better than this. And then I didn't watch Monday night, but in the Battle of New York, the Bills beat the Jets. And yeah, Mike Williams did so bad they went and traded for Devontae Adams the next day.
Yeah.
Scott, what are your takeaways from that one?
Well, like I said, seems like both teams now here with the addition of Adams and with the addition of Cooper, both those teams are going to be a big, exciting offenses to watch. You know, they got now each got some extra solid receivers. They both have had big backs, and we know the quarterback of each. So offensively, there's going to be a big battle here in all of New York. I think anybody living in New York, no matter which team you're following, are going to be really excited about the football that they're going to be seeing coming up here.
Yeah, and it's always fun, those like interstate rivalries. When I was in Orlando, the Miami Jacksonville game was on, and
Yeah.
man, that was a fun little situation to be in because people were going wild and upset at the same time. Let's get to fantasy, which we saw the last undefeated team fall. My dad lost to David pretty handily. David had his best outing of the year, and this comes after he said he was going to. His team was doing so bad, he'll probably just end up with the first pick, and now he might go undefeated at this point. That's what I told him. I said, "See, now that you said that, you're going to win it all." But yeah, Birmingham Bats drops to 5-1. I ended up finally being the highest scoring team for a week. Usually I'm like really high, but second, but I beat Blazing Red. Brennan, you also took care of Blueberry Bulldogs in a pretty high scoring matchup as well. Sun Hitters took care of business with Yorkville 49. Dark Horse sneaked out against Iowa Eagles. They're now 5-1, and I think they're ranked number 1 in the league.
Yep.
And then BP Bears only scored 78, but that 78 was enough to beat South Park Cows. So they go up to 3-2. I think they are now, or 3-3, 4-2. What are they? Hold on.
I think they're 3-3.
Where are they?
I think they're on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, 3-3. Yeah, Brian won 3 in a row. So doing good there. And then Scott, Matt got you this week.
Yeah.
You can get your revenge this very next week.
Well, yeah, I say this is the third time in about 5 weeks that Matt and I have took on each other, but he's been dominating me, and and my guys have been really struggling. Especially like I said, Harrison gave me 0 this past week. Tank Bigsby gave me 2.5. Saquon Barkley only gave me 7.5. A lot of guys are hurting. Quentin Johnston, I had heard, got a ankle sprain fairly early in his game. So once again, let's see. Looking at my stats, other than Trevor Lawrence, my big players were Brock Bowers, who maybe now with Adams getting out of Las Vegas, Bowers is going to be the number one. We'll see how that goes. And again, my second leading point getter is the kicker. You gotta have the kicker to save your team. I guess that's a sign about how well I'm doing.
Hey, 2 years ago in our fantasy draft, when we kept telling everyone to draft kickers, this is why. It wasn't a bit. This is why. Kickers will do it. Yeah, no, we've seen some trades this week in fantasy as well. Cryptid Critters, speaking of their win, they went and traded and got Tyler Lockett, trading away Mike Gesicki, a tight end from Cincinnati. So not giving up a lot and getting a solid third receiver for Dark Horse there. I don't know. I'm feeling like I might trade somebody this week. I don't know who or to who, but feeling like I want to trade just to get that trade out of the way. I think that was the only big trade to speak of currently. Most of it's just adding, dropping. So let's see what the standings are. Brennan, you're still in first place, and with that win over Grayson, it jumps you to a 2-game lead, so that's good for you. And 5 games above Blazing Red, who's in third in your division. In my division, we have 2 5-1 teams ahead of me, so Dark Horse and the Sun Hitters both at 5-1. I'm in third at 4-2. I also have the highest scoring team, but that just shows how up and down my team is. Because I've had 2 weeks where I was the lowest scoring team, so I just not done good consistency wise. And Tyler 1-5, kind of falling off the map there. In Graveyard Dogs, Cryptid Critters now winning 1 in a row. Good into their second one. Only 2 games behind Thundercats, so they might be rooting for you this week, Scott, to help them close that gap a little bit more. And then, of course, Bobby in third place there, 1-5.
I suck.
Well, Bobby, it's all part of the process. You know, you look at Dark Horse. At one point, we thought they were going to go defeated, and now they're number 1 team in the league. So,
Yeah.
just
How
build
many
it.
players? I don't know who to get rid of.
Well, that's the thing. Especially in Dynasty, there's usually not a lot of people to pick up throughout the year. Sometimes it's better to just ride with what you got. And, granted, sometimes there's some breakouts or injuries happen, and then you pick them up. But that's what I do. I kind of just, unless I really need a position or somebody gets hurt, I try to ride it off. Yeah. That's how you do it. In the last division, Birmingham Bats had their first loss, but they are still in first place, though it does drop them 2 spots to third overall. And then BP Bears is in second now, jumping up with 3-3. Scott, you're third there, 2-4, and then South Park Cows and Shane in fourth place. I think if playoffs started today, your entire division would make the playoffs, Scott.
No.
Let's see. Because on one side we have Dark Horse with a bye, and then Sun Hitters and Thundercats with bye there. And then it would be BP Bears versus Desert Dogs. Whoever won there would go to face Dark Horse. And then on the other side of the branch, Rams, Outlaws, and Bats all have bye weeks. And then be the Bulldogs and South Park Cows. Yeah, so if playoffs start today, your entire division would make the playoffs.
Hey, at least you're there.
Hey, it's just getting to the dance. Anything can happen there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've seen some teams. Bobby one year when he had Tim Tebow
Yeah.
set a certain Castle Rock Rams team looking to three-peat. So
I took you off that one.
Championship Y one, I was 7-9.
yeah, yeah. Brendan, if he ends up with under 10 wins, he's going to win it all. That's just how it works.
Yep.
Because both years, I think you won it. You were like 9 wins or something. So that's just Brendan's game plan. Go in, don't let anyone think he's gonna win, and then he'll just pull out the victory. He saves it for the playoffs. So let's see, week 7 matchups. We already know one, like I said. It's the Sun Hitters, or not Sun Hitters. It is Thundercats and Desert Dogs. Who does it have winning currently in that one? Oh, it's currently projected 115, 113, Scott. That is
It's just kind of fumbling through here. Well, see, Matt has his kicker on bye. So long as he keeps his kicker on bye, maybe I got a chance, but otherwise we'll have to see.
Should be a good one there, though. Another one that might end up in a good matchup, because BP Bears has been doing much better than projections every week, is BP Bears Cryptic Critters, both on winning streaks right now. So, I mean, if Brian can win again, that's 4 in a row. 0-3 to 4-3 would be a big turnaround, especially at the halfway point of the season.
Sure would.
And then it looks like my dad projected to win again over Shane, but it's only 106 to 102. Now, I don't know how many people. I haven't set my roster yet, so
I haven't set mine.
it looks like my dad does have a defense on bye, but I think the Broncos play the Saints Thursday, so he'll have to switch that soon. Close one there. Blueberry Bulldogs projected 20 above the Eagles there, so not close. Ooh, Dark Horse Outlaws. Brendan, you guys are less than 2 points projected apart. That should be a good one. And both 5-1. Pretty much whoever wins that might be first place after this week.
Well, and Mark's projected to lose right now.
He's
Blazing
projected.
Red, so
First win of the year for Blazing Red. Mark, yeah, it's a 3-point difference there. There's a lot of close ones, so this should be a fun one. Bobby, you play me. I'm sorry.
Who do I play?
You're playing me. I apologize.
I'll probably get blown out.
I don't know about that. Like I said, my team is very inconsistent, so I might score 60 points this week. So we'll find out. Unfortunately, with Tua being hurt, Tyreek's not doing a lot. But A.J. Brown being back has helped a ton. Who is going to be my tight end this week?
not commit.
No, not Komet. Well, might be trading a receiver for a tight end this week, so that might be the next big trade. Keep an eye out for that.
Johnson from the Saints is available on waivers.
Yeah, but that means I have to drop somebody.
That's true.
And at this point, I don't want to drop anybody. I might chance it and just roll without a tight end. Well, I have Sanat, but he's not been doing anything. Even with the Washington offense, he's projected a point. I might just throw him in there. So here we go. Lose me the game, and I'll cut you.
You'd be the one to cut.
I was gonna say, you would be the one to cut.
Well,
I
you
was
would be the one to cut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at the rest of my roster because I'm not going to cut Tyreek, obviously. Juju might be trade bait. I might try to trade him. Kyrian, I'm not going to cut. Davis from Buffalo, I think, is going to start getting a little bit more of a role at the second back position, third down. Dunze Williams, obviously, I'm not cutting. Esteem from Denver, I think he'll start getting more. Their running game has looked atrocious. Yeah, he might be the only one I would cut. So tough times. Let's see. Bobby, will hand it off to you. Denver, New Orleans. It's in New Orleans. Broncos banged up. Injuries on defense. Who do you got?
I think we'll still win because Saints don't have Rattler. We don't know how good he is, against a defense like ours. If we kind of get up in this game, get a different game scheme going, So hopefully, I think we'll win.
Brendan, what about you?
I'll say Denver just because I feel like they're a little more built together and, with a new quarterback coming in a short week. I know that the Denver secondary is a little banged up, but still don't quite know how the Saints will do. So,
Scott?
I'm going to go with the Saints, and I'm basically putting the entire organization on the back of Alvin Kamara, and just have him run, give him kind of. They used to say with Walter Payton, have him Walter go left, go right, go up the middle, and then you can do it all over again because he's going to get that first down. I think it's going to be give it to Kamara. He may not be as much of a left and a right person as Walter Payton was, but he's definitely an up the middle. And I could see him just blasting holes throughout the game. It's going to be the Alvin Kamara owners better make sure that he's in the starting lineup because I think Kamara's going to get a ton of points this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to go with New Orleans as well. Denver, watching them last week was hard. That offense was not clicking at any beat. The receivers are dropping. The running backs are fumbling. They can't do anything on third down. And then you look at New Orleans, Spencer Rattler being his first start looked pretty good. He did throw a couple interceptions late, but at that point, you're just slinging around trying to make some plays. And I do think he's not a terrible quarterback. That's why I drafted him in fantasy football because I was like, eventually he's going to come in and I think he'll replace Derek Carr. Now, he didn't give a reason last week to completely replace Derek Carr, but I think this is going to be the game where he can put some stuff together. And if he can do what he did against Tampa Bay, they'll win because Denver can't score that many points. So that's kind of my opinion there.
Yep.
Let's see. Do we have? Oh, good. I forgot we have another London game. So it's New England Jacksonville battle of one-win teams. Battle of who can just score anything. Bobby, who you got?
New England in this game. Yeah. I just see Joe Jacksonville. You don't know what you're getting, so I see New England in this one.
So I'll give my pick early. I still have faith in Trevor Lawrence. A lot of people are trying to write him off for some reason. I think a lot of it is coaching. Again, you have way too much talent to squander it like they have been. But I think you put the talent next to each other. New England's coaching hasn't been the best either. They gave up a ton of points last week, and I think Jacksonville can exploit a lot of the same weaknesses. Give me Jacksonville by 10. Brendan.
I'm going to say New England. Yeah, that's all I got.
Not a lot to say in this one. Scott?
Well, I don't know. This is now what, second week in a row now that Jacksonville's been in London. I know a lot of people have been already calling them the London Jaguars. So it's kind of a rebattle between the people of England against the Patriots in America. I kind of think maybe the people in England are going to get their one-uppance and get their revenge. But I'm going more. I will more lean with the Jaguars, because they have the tools there. Like I say, they have Lawrence, they have Bigsby, they have Thomas Jr. You know, and what do the Patriots have? We still don't know. So, in that sense, I would just go with the Jaguars for this game against the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, even their star rookie, Polk, their wide receiver, even with the quarterback change, they weren't able to get him the ball. So,
Yeah.
it's quite telling there. They need some help. If you give them Travis Hunter next year, they might be some. Oh, here comes one. I think it's gonna be a bloodbath. Buffalo, Tennessee. I'm just getting my pick. Buffalo's gonna run roughshod over Tennessee. It's not even gonna be close, especially with Amari now. It's just gonna be point. Tennessee's offense and the coaching. I don't like the coaching there. It's terrible. I think Levis. I don't think he's the worst quarterback, but I don't think they're helping him either. So he's average, and they're just making it worse with coaching. So give me Buffalo, Bobby.
Buffalo. Buffalo's going to whip Tennessee.
Yeah. Buffalo easy. Yeah,
Easy.
It's going to be ugly. Buffalo.
Brendan.
Yeah, Buffalo.
All right, here's another one, and I hate to do it and pick against Seattle, but in Atlanta, and I think Atlanta is going to beat them, unfortunately. Honestly, we might see Sam Howell play some this year for Seattle. Geno has looked good, but if we keep seeing last game happening, and he was just missing open receivers, we might be seeing Sam Howell earlier rather than later. Bobby?
I'll go Atlanta, too. Atlanta's over Seattle maybe by 3. Be close, maybe a field goal.
Scott?
Yeah. Got to be Atlanta. They're the ones that have been getting better, and as you say, for some reason the Seahawks seem to be struggling. So I'll ride the tide with the Falcons.
Brendan?
Oh, he's trying to get some help. He's getting some helpers on his pickers, I think.
Exactly. You always need the four-legged.
Brendan went through the ball, and he's like, if they go get this one, then I'm picking that team.
If you bring this toy back to me, I'll pick this one. If you bring this one back, I'll pick that one. I'm going to say Atlanta. Seattle's not looked the same the last few weeks. So,
yeah, they went from playing Denver to playing real teams now, so it's been harder for them. Here we go. Cincinnati needs to get healthy. They're not looking great, but luckily for them, they play the Cleveland Browns this week, who are still starting Deshaun Watson, and I think we'll start him for a while because they should bench him, but they are refusing to do that. So for me, I'm picking Cincinnati. I don't know if it's going to be by a lot. I think it's going to be an ugly game. It's still divisional, and even with the Browns being beat up last week, they still held Philadelphia to low points. Like the defense at least showed up. Unfortunately, offense didn't, and I trust Joe Burrow a lot more than I do Deshaun Watson. So give me Cincinnati, Bobby.
I'm going Cincinnati also. Cincinnati's got a high offense. So
Brendan?
I'm going to pick up an upset. I'm going to say Cleveland wins.
You're picking Deshaun Watson? Oh, wait. Are you saying he gets hurt and then Jameis comes in and then leads him to a victory?
I will never wish injury upon anybody. I don't care how bad a player you are.
Wait, are you saying he's doing terrible, so they pull him?
Sure.
And then Jameis comes in.
You can do that one. I think for the kind of the reasons you were saying though is, it's a divisional game, and sometimes that divisional game the lesser of the team does win. And I watched that Sunday night game, and that was
It was ugly.
pitiful until I was like, really? This game is going to end with like a 10-7 score? Like, oh God, that game was terrible. And the Giants aren't good. No. So I don't know what the Bengals were thinking. I'm going to choose Cleveland. Give it an upset.
Scott?
Okay. Well, I'm probably going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to go with Burrow, Chase, and the receivers there. Who is Watson going to throw to other than anybody that's not wearing stripes? I'm going to have to go with the Bengals. Despite the dog pound, they'll probably be barking up a storm, and they'll give a whole lot of energy to the Browns. But I'll go with the stripes. I'll go with Bengals.
All right. So here's a fun game. Green Bay is hosting Houston. Bobby.
Well, you know what? I gotta go Houston this week. Or Green Bay. Yep.
Brendan.
I want Houston to win, but on the back of their defense. Because I play CJ Stroud in fantasy this week, and he can't do good.
Brendan is hoping
this is going to be my favorite game of the week because besides that, I think this is my favorite game of the weekend. They're two good teams. I do hope Houston does win, but I think it will be a good game and close match. So,
yeah, with some good young quarterbacks. Again, at the beginning of the year, it just kind of felt odd because there's a lot of really good young quarterbacks in the league. And it hasn't felt this way in a long, long time because there's at least been like a dozen that were vets for a while. So, no, it's fun for the years to come. Scott, who are you taking?
I agree with Brendan. This is going to be the game of the week. And I think because of that, as I've said in the past, if I got two pretty even teams, I'll probably lean toward the home team. And that's the case in this week. So I'm going to lean toward the Packers, but would not surprise me if the Texans pulled this out. But, yeah, Brendan's right. This is going to be the game of the week. It's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun one. Unfortunately for Brendan, I do think it'll be probably a higher scoring game. Now, it could work out if it's all running touchdowns, which is good for me. Go Joe Mixon.
Mayfield did blow up last week, and I still was able to pull off a win. So CJ Stroud could have a good game as long as the rest of his team doesn't do well.
Yeah, no, but I'm going to also take Green Bay in this one at home. And, we've seen Love. He didn't do good against the one kind of upper tier team he played, but again, that was kind of his first couple weeks back from his injury, which was an injury a lot of us didn't think he'd be back for at least half the year, let alone a few games. So it's quite amazing. But I will kind of try to take an upset, if we're going to call it that. I'm going to take Green Bay. Scotty, next, we have the Colts hosting Miami. Do you see Miami at all winning that one?
No, no. Even with Robertson at the quarterback instead of Flacco, yeah, I think it's going to be easy for the Colts this time. Taylor, and the receivers, uh, they're gonna have a field day, and again, what kind of offense are the Dolphins gonna show without Tua? I don't think there's anything there. So, I think it's going to be the Colts easily. They'll run roughshod over the fish. So,
Bobby, what about you?
Indianapolis.
Brendan?
Indianapolis.
No,
I
I'm-
can't believe in the Miami's offense.
yeah.
Yeah, if anything, this has helped the case for Tua's actually a good quarterback because it's not system. We've seen the other quarterbacks come in and neither of them have gotten anything done. And they still have the really good weapons, and the weapons are putting up no fantasy points. So come on, Tua. Like we need Tua back, but we don't want to rush him. Ooh, here's another one. Could be a game of the week. Detroit heading to Minnesota. Whew, Bobby, who you got?
Minnesota.
Took a minute.
Got to go mini.
All right. Brandon, what about you?
I think the only reason I'm going to choose Minnesota in this one is because Aiden Hutchinson is out for the year.
Yep.
If they can, I heard a couple names thrown around. If they can get somebody to come in and be a good edge or middle person to rush the passer, then the Lions can win future games. But I think this week, with him being out, Minnesota will be able to. And Minnesota is getting TJ back, their tight end. So he'll either play this week or he'll play Thursday when they go against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe some of those names are the same ones I've heard with Chicago, which it's amazing the fire sales I think a couple teams are about to have. Scott?
Oh yeah, I think the Vikings. Vikings without really too much trouble. Not going to be as dominant as the Colts Dolphins game, but I think it'll be Vikings without too much worry.
All right, so I'm going lone wolf on this. Give me Detroit. Even with Hutchinson being gone, they still have a lot of weapons on defense and on the defensive line. It's kind of something they've preached and built around is the trenches. And I think push comes to shove, it'll be a decently high-scoring game, not as much as like Green Bay, Houston. But I do think the Lions are kind of underlooked the offensive categories, so give me them. Oh, Brendan. You got to give this one to him when he comes back. But it is going to be big old Philadelphia flying into the Big Apple to face the New York Giants. Bobby, who do you got?
Not the Giants. Giants suck.
All right, there we go. Giants suck. Can quote it. It's Bobby. Brendan, you're back. We're at your game. You guys are going to the Giants. How are you feeling?
Nervous.
I know I hear you talked all this smack about the Giants.
They do suck, and they are the lesser team, and Philly should beat them. It'll be fun to see Saquon back in New York and see the fans' reaction. I really hope that with having everybody back for 2 weeks in a row, I know last week was their bye week, and then this week, they can get connected a little bit better, get back grooving, and pick up some steam. A few years ago, I said all Philly really needed was that powerhouse back, and now that we have them, you need to use them.
Yeah.
I mean, You don't need to hand it off 100 times a game, but you definitely need to do it more than however many they are. So I hope Philly wins. I choose Philly, but it is a divisional game. They aren't playing their best, so
We'll see, right? I think Scott would be happy if Barkley did well this week.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to see Barkley go crazy. I think between Barkley, Hurts, Goddard, the other Eagles, um, again, don't think it's really going to be too much of a trouble over the Giants. Don't think it'll be really close. It'll be interesting to watch, but I think Philadelphia will end up having it without really too much worry.
Yeah, I think if there's a week for Philadelphia to kind of cure some of what's been going on, this is going to be the week. Or Dallas, because, Dallas looked like garbage. But they got the Giants this week. And even though it's divisional, I think they're going to win it. Now, I do believe Malik is back, so that should at least help the Giants' offense there, because he was out for a little bit. But this should be an okay game. It's not going to be anything right home about, but I think Philadelphia gets it in the end. Whew, here comes another one. I don't know. Raiders, Bobby, you're picking them over the Rams?
No, I hate the Raiders. Rams.
All right. Brendan.
lesser of two evils. Choose yours. Hi. We'll say the Rams.
Scott.
Well, right now the question is what is the mentality with the Raiders with Adams gone? Are they gonna, even with the fans? Are they like, wait a minute, who's left? Who's here to cheer for? So I'll go with the Rams easy because I think the Raiders are just gonna. I hate to say it's gonna kind of wither and die there in the desert.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of good stuff happening for the Raiders, much like the Browns this year. And it won't surprise me if we see Max Crosby on the move here. I know Raiders fans probably don't want to hear that, but if you can get a first or second back for him, I think in the long run, that's what it's about. I think the Rams offensively, they're not at their best. They're dealing with a lot of receiver injuries, but just hand it off to Williams and he can probably get 200 yards against the Raiders. Like, they just looked horrible. So give me the Rams. Oh, here we go. Another one there's some bad matchups this week. Bobby, Carolina or Washington?
I got to go Washington this week over Carolina.
Brendan.
I don't want Washington to win. But they are the better team. And Jaden and I have Washington's quarterback, so I'm torn, but I do think Washington will win.
Scott?
Yeah, it'll be Washington easy. Yeah, I knew that Washington got blown out by the Ravens last week. I did see the score. I heard them on the radio coming home. But it's not. They didn't get blown out because Washington isn't that good a team. I think they're really coming on. They're going to be very scary to watch here in the next couple of years, I think. But I think easily over the Panthers. We're still not sure what is going on in Carolina. If anybody knows, we don't know. So easily Washington.
I would say we could maybe ask fans of the Panthers, but I don't think they're even going to the games. So I don't think we can even ask them. I know last year it was down to $10, $15 for a game ticket, which is extremely low for a National Football League game. Give me the Commanders probably by 20 points. I think they're just going to show up and show off. They're at home. Carolina's a mess. I know they played okay, I will say, for them. I mean, it's still bad, but okay against Atlanta. But again, that is a division game, and you, even if you're bad in a division matchup, you usually play decent, but they still got blown out there, and so I just can't pick them. And man, this got to be painful for the Panthers. I mean, you've seen C.J. Stroud. Now you're gonna have to see Jaden Daniels. At some point, you'll see Caleb, and you're just thinking, what did we do? Like,
They did nothing. What did
Right.
they? What do we do? Well, they did nothing, and this is what you got. So
right, and then they traded all their offensive weapons away. It was just
that's
they
what-
had really good building blocks, and they're like, actually, what if we just get rid of like Bryce Young might not even be on the team next year, and they're still going to be sending draft picks to the Bears. So,
yeah.
not
be a while.
looking good. Here's one that could go really boring or fun, but it's a rematch of the Super Bowl. Chiefs 49ers, Bobby.
San Francisco.
This is because the Chiefs are, in the division of the Broncos.
I see an upset here in the making.
All right, Brendan.
Kansas City. I'm tired of voting against them.
But the Kansas City people from like 4 hours away from you want you to keep voting against them so they keep winning.
Probably.
Scott.
Oh, Kansas City's coming off their bye. They think now they got Hunt in the backfield, who I think can pretty much dominate there. They have Mahomes and maybe Worthy and Smith Schuster have really tied things together over this past week. I hate to say it for 49er fans, and especially for Mark, but the Chiefs are going to go by easy. They're going to dominate this game.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know, it's death, taxes, and Andrew Reid does good out of a bye. So the Chiefs are going to be prepared. They haven't been playing their best football, and they're still winning. They're still making it look easy when they need to. The 49ers are still beat up. They're not playing cohesive. Ayuk and everybody, Samuel, they get plays, and they looked frustrated. Even against Seattle, even though they were up, they often still looked really frustrated with each other. So give me Kansas City, which leads us to we need to have a talk with the scheduling people. Why is this our Sunday night game? The Jets and the Steelers. There's no way this should be your Sunday night football game, Bobby.
Pittsburgh is going to thrash the Jets.
Do you think Russell Wilson's going to thrash the
No,
Jets?
but I think it's not going to be him.
No,
It's
he's
not going to be
starting.
Russell Wilson.
He's starting. He's playing first team
Is
this
he?
week.
Oh, I don't see the. I don't. God, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. I can't. No, I'm changing Green. I'm going with the Jets. I can't stand Russell Wilson anymore. No,
Welcome to being
He was
a fan
your
of the
savior,
Seahawks.
though.
no.
Yeah, he burnt out his welcome in Seattle. So,
Yep.
Brandon.
No.
Which team is going to show up? This is hard because you don't know what the Steelers' offense looks like with Russell Wilson.
And we know the Jets haven't been great.
But now they have Devontae Adams, so their offense is going to look hopefully a little better.
Yeah, but how many interceptions do you think Rodgers is going to throw this one?
He only
At least
threw one last night.
Yeah, but he's been throwing at least one, and usually in not good times to throw those.
But yeah, he can also throw a 50-yard Hail Mary. And
Yep.
or did you see the catch Lazard had last night? Like off the defender's hip and like right where it's supposed to be.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's one thing real quick I forgot to talk about. But the Jordan Love off his back foot kind of Hail Mary that works, Like, that was an insane play. He threw it, and I was like, "There's no way." And then they caught it. He had to stop, reposition, and then jump forward into the end zone. And I was like, "What?" Like, that was insane. Anyway, who are you taking?
I don't know. We'll say the Steelers. Steelers have a good defense.
All right, Scott.
You're right. I'm gonna lean toward the Jets, but yeah, it would not surprise me if Pittsburgh pulls this out. But yeah, I'm gonna lean towards the Jets. I'm going with Rodgers and see what he can put together with Adams. But even if they're still not quite on the same page, well, Rodgers still has Wilson to throw to, and Bijan in the backfield. So obviously Steelers have Najee in the backfield too. So I'm going to lean toward the Jets barely.
Yeah, this one's tough. Steelers are at home, and they're not going to ask Russell Wilson to do what the Broncos asked him to do. We see his no, just throw the football all the time, because that's not what he did good in Seattle. What he did good in Seattle was let Marshawn run the ball. They can let Najee run the ball, and then if he has to, like, pass it around. They got some decent receivers. We'll see. Maybe Mike Williams is a Steeler next week. There's still some other wide receivers that might get traded away. But yeah, I'll take a flyer on Pittsburgh just because their defense has been playing well, and if that run game can continue to go, just keep it out of Rodgers' hand, unless you want him to throw right at your defensive backs, and then we'll go from there. So that leaves us Monday night. We got 2 games again. We'll start with the first one: Baltimore at Tampa Bay. Bobby.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay over Baltimore?
Yep.
Okay. Brendan.
I'm going to choose Baltimore.
Scott.
Well, okay, I'll split this too. I'm going to lean toward the Bucks. Let's go with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay at home.
Yeah, I'm going with obviously Lamar Jackson. A little Louisville Cardinal love there. Plus, ever since they learned that just because you have Derrick Henry, you actually have to let him run. And since they learned you can let him run the football, they've been doing really well. And we saw Tampa Bay struggle against a Broncos defense that's pretty good. And I think Baltimore can match up with the Broncos defense. So give me Baltimore. Just keep the ball out of the offense and you'll be fine. Ooh. Here's your other Monday night. Again, we got to talk to these scheduling people. But Chargers, Cardinals, Bobby.
Oh, God. Who is it?
Chargers and Cardinals.
Oh, after I saw San Diego, but they didn't, I think I'm going to pick San Diego.
The Los Angeles, Bobby.
Chargers, yeah.
All the San Diego fans are going to get mad at us if we keep saying they have a football team. Brendan.
Yeah, I guess LA. This game is only on ESPN Plus, so
yeah,
that's kind of a. I mean, I have it because I watch hockey, but that is kind of a
Doesn't
downside.
that say something? This is the game they want you to pay extra for.
Right.
We should have a better game. I'm glad we don't, because I don't want to keep paying extra for all. That's kind of ridiculous, but
right. But yeah, I'll choose LA.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, it's going to be the Chargers. Again, I have no clue where anybody with the Cardinals are mentally. There's no link. Tyler Murray does not run this team. Is not the leader of this team. Defense is wacky at best. So yeah, I'd much rather lean toward a team that's led by Herbert than lean toward a team that's led by Murray. So I think it's definitely going to be the Chargers. I guess theoretically, since I don't have ESPN Plus and I'm not going to fork over the extra money, especially to watch this game, I won't have to worry about it. I'll just wait for the score to pop up on the newscast.
Right. Yeah, for me, I'll be lone wolf again. Give me the Cardinals. They're hot and cold, so this is gonna be their hot week. I'm just, we did this last year. I started picking the Cardinals, and every once in a while I'd be right. So give me Arizona. I don't know. I'm still not sold on the Chargers defense. The fact they looked so well for 3 quarters of that last game, and then just let Bo Nix run around, which I still have a lot of faith in Bo Nix. I think he's a good quarterback, and I think he'll do good in Denver once they get better weapons and a little bit more even keel there. But the fact they almost lost that game, I think the Cardinals, if they do that to the Cardinals, they'll be able to. I mean, if anything, Kyler Murray can run into the end zone and score. And I heard they might start putting up Call of Duty PlayStations like at the end of the end zone, so he's focused down there. I'm just kidding. But yeah, give me Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. All right, well, Bobby, that's the end of it. What do you got? What are you doing for the game this week?
I think I'm going to go to the Castle Pines Bar and Grill.
On Thursday?
Yeah, to watch the game.
Yeah, maybe I'll wander that way on Thursday and check it out. I haven't been there since they got new ownership or whatever.
Yeah, it's good. It's better now than it was.
Well, they weren't too bad then. They just didn't pay their employees, which is not a good thing. Food was good.
Be better.
But, the fact that their employees kept showing up after 5 weeks and not getting paid blows my mind. Brendan, what are you doing this week?
I have to work, so probably nothing.
Yeah, I know I'll be editing. I've gotten at least through October 31st some deep dives coming out for everybody, so stay tuned for that. I got a couple more big episodes, so I'll probably be doing that this weekend. Scott, what are you doing?
Well, I think the rest of this week is still recovering from four hockey games in a 32 hours time span. So and 6.5 hour drives each way. So so a little more recuperating, and come football time, I'll be nice and camped out on my recliner. Make sure I have my extra drinks and snacks piled up so I can just relax, watch the game. If it's a lousy game, it gives me a chance to catch up some naps and catch up on some sleep. But if it's a good game, then that's exciting. But that's my weekend. Bring it on, football.
Right. Yeah, I know I'll be doing some filming Friday and then probably a lot of editing. We got a lot of videos and we're trying to just get them done so we can focus on some bigger projects. But yeah, we'll be back. And for anyone listening in the league, if you want some wide receivers, start offering me some stuff because clearly I need a tight end. Maybe I'll take a quarterback. I don't know what you guys want to send me, but
in addition, Keegan, coming up this weekend is the Indiana Hoosiers coming off a bye. So let's keep this streak, this Rose Bowl streak going come Saturday. Let's get this thing. Let's keep this puppy rolling. Go Hoosiers. Go Hoosiers.
Right. I go. See, I got to get up to Bloomington again. I haven't been in a while. It's a fun little area there for anyone that hasn't been. Yeah. It's really nice stadiums up there too. Like they did not. It's like Jurassic Park. They spared no expense. They're really nice up there.
And they're getting better. Finally, Indiana University is putting some focus on the game of football. Kind of realize that football is the big moneymaker in sports these days. And so that's why they forked over a bunch of money to get Kurt Signetti And as part of his contract, he got the first 6 wins and immediately got an extra 3.2 million. So now there's a deal. Hopefully that keeps him going. So people know people around Bloomington that actually watch football also. Those people are really excited that there's more to cheer for than just only basketball. So
Yeah, no, it brings in a lot of money. We've seen that with Dion and the Buffs. People, there's some people that don't like who Dion is, but they're sure happy to, take in all the millions of dollars that his team is providing the town of Boulder, with just people showing up and spending money within the town. And I love to see it. At some point, maybe I'll break the bank this year and go watch a Buffs game just to say I was there at one point. They do go for a very pretty penny. I think it's like $200 for nosebleeds, which is insane for a college team. It's almost as bad as the Broncos. But yeah, we'll be back next week for Culz Sports Chat, which the link will pop up to the left if you want that. But stay tuned. On Thursday, we'll have a new deep dive going live, as well as a investigation regarding the gods on Friday. So heard it here first. You'll click those to the right, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, Friday I'm going to that Colorado Tower at Stapleton Airport.